We all have our bad habits. Some of these are unique to us, and some of these are collective. The individual ones we're probably aware of, but the collective ones, the ones everyone does, might be harder to notice. Luckily, you have us to point them out for you. Here are just a few things that most of us have been consistently doing wrong forever.
Amazing!
Number 10. Charging your phone. There are quite a few phone charging myths doing the rounds. One of these is that you should let your battery get to the point of dying before you start to recharge it. The thing is, charging a lithium battery for an extended period of time actually wears it out. According to Battery University, which is itself run by a battery company called Cadex, smartphones are subject to stress in a similar way that smartphone owners are. Additionally, once your phone is 100% charged, keeping it plugged in only serves to increase its stress levels, as it gets trickle charges to keep it at 100% while it is charging. This keeps the battery in a high-stress state and gradually wears it down. It's the human equivalent of running a never-ending marathon. Battery University recommends that you should charge your phone when it loses 10% of battery life and stop charging it just before it reaches 100% so it is not affected by those pesky trickle charges. Another thing you probably haven't realized is that you should also take off your phone's case on certain models when charging. This is because some cases can cause the battery to overheat and wear out your battery's life, so charging your phone naked in short bursts is the way to go. Number 9. Cutting a cake. Most of us cut our cakes in slices, which seems perfectly reasonable. How else would you cut a cake? Well, wedges cut from the middle are fine. You will get a perfectly good piece of cake cutting it that way. However, it does leave the center of it exposed, and that means that the cake will start to dry and go stale a lot quicker. Instead, you should be cutting your slices through the center of the cake, i.e. one long slice through the middle. Once you've had your fill of the confectionery, you can push both sides of the cake together, meaning you now have a brand new, slightly smaller cake that will stay fresh for much longer. This method has actually been around for 100 years and was first noted in 1906 by British mathematician Sir Francis Galton in a letter to the journal Nature. Number 8. Holding your steering wheel. For years, American driving instructors have been telling their students to keep their hands at the 10 and 2 o'clock positions on their steering wheels when driving. This was recommended in the past to compensate for cars without power steering. This was a great tip back in the crazy days of the 1990s. Now though, as people have started to take car safety pretty seriously, every vehicle comes with its very own airbag, meaning that holding your hands in this traditional position could see you wind up with some injured limbs. In fact, the National Transportation Safety Board, a U.S. agency that monitors car safety, has reported some terrible injuries specifically due to how people are holding their steering wheel. Instead, we should now be placing our hands in the 9 and 3 o'clock positions, with the thumbs placed along the rim of the wheel rather than looped around it. When airbags are triggered, they force open the plastic cover on your steering wheel. The higher your hands are placed, the more likely they are to be over the plastic cover, and thus the less likely they are to be in harm's way. For safety reasons, it's also best to avoid resting your hand on the center of the wheel and driving with an underhand grip when turning. Sure, you might feel a little more comfortable now, but when your airbag winds up breaking your arm in a minor accident, you'll probably feel a little less relaxed. Number 7. Going to the bathroom. This is one you probably thought you couldn't get wrong, right? We've all been doing this fairly naturally since we left our diapers behind. Turns out, practice has not made us perfect. Science has discovered the optimal way to do your number 2s. Sitting on the toilet places your knees at a 90-degree angle to your abdomen, which actually leads to a relaxed colon and a slightly choked rectum. This causes some additional strain on the abdomen and can lead to gastrointestinal issues. Before the invention of the flushing toilet at the end of the 16th century, we all just used to squat in the woods, occasionally glancing over our shoulders for any imminent bear attacks. And that's apparently the best way to do it. Squatting relaxes the muscles in our pelvic floor and straightens our rectums, thus making the process a lot easier. And there is now actually a product available to help. It's called the Squatty Potty. It elevates your feet and ensures your knees are above your hips so that you are sitting at effectively the same angle you would be if you were squatting, thereby making bathroom breaks a whole lot simpler and helping to prevent issues such as hemorrhoids, constipation, colitis, and colon cancer. Number 6. Wearing earphones. There's not a whole lot to wearing in-ear headphones, right? You just put them in your ears and wait for that Glee soundtrack to kick in. Sure, they've never seemed the most efficient of objects. In fact, a major problem with earphones is that they're a one-size-fits-all product that doesn't fit all. They fall out when you're jogging, they get tangled up and lost remarkably easily too. While we can't do much about the latter two, there is a simple way around the first. We should all be wrapping our headphones over the top of our ears before we plug them into our ear hole. And there you go, no more earphones crashing to the floor while we run. Number 5. Peeling a banana. This is an obvious example of humanity arrogantly ignoring Mother Nature. We all peel bananas by the stem. It's unanimous. It seems a few centuries ago, a bunch of humanity's richest kings got together and decided that this was how bananas would be skinned forever, even if peeling them that way causes bruising, as well as causing them to get annoyingly mushy at the top. Really, we should be peeling bananas from the bottom. It's easily done too. Simply pinch the black part at the top and peel. How do we know this is definitely the way to go? It's how the monkeys do it. Number 4. Using antiperspirant in the morning. This one might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but stick with me. You shouldn't be putting antiperspirant on in the morning. In fact, it's most effective when you use it the night before. Applying it in the morning, particularly after showering, makes it difficult for its ingredients to get into your sweat ducts and clog them up. What you should be doing is using it before you go to bed. This gives the deodorant time to work its magic and plug those pores. Even after showering the next morning, a good antiperspirant will still remain active for at least 24 hours. How do we know this is the best way to use the product? For most clinical strength antiperspirants, it's actually written on the label. Number 3. Washing your hair. Here's one that could free up a little bit more time in your day. You probably shouldn't be washing your hair on a daily basis. In fact, washing your hair every day is not only bad for your hair, it actually helps to make it more greasy. This is because frequent washing removes a beneficial oil known as sebum from your crown. Sebum helps stop bacterial infections by protecting your hair and skin from disease-causing microbes. You need some sebum in hair. Shampoo is an emulsifier that traps excess oil and dirt and washes these oils away when you rinse. Overwashing leaves a dangerous lack of sebum in your scalp and causes your oil glands to overcompensate by flooding your hair and making it look less than 100%. Number 2. Applying moisturizer. When it comes to applying moisturizer, most people go for the rubbing the cream into the face method until the moisturizer has entirely disappeared. This is wrong. Moisturizer is supposed to be slowly absorbed by the body's outer layer, and so it should be gently tapped onto the skin using the tips of your fingers and then smoothed out. Patting your face gently helps to stimulate circulation and flushes out toxins that have built up in your lymph nodes. A vigorous rub only serves to stretch your skin. When it comes to applying eye cream, it's also best to apply it in the morning rather than late at night, as it is more likely to be absorbed at this stage because your blood flow is more active at this hour of the day. Number 1. Pouring juice. You probably think you're something of a juice pouring expert. What could be easier than opening the carton and pouring? Okay, so there might be some glugging and a few splashes here and there, but the majority of the liquid still stays in the glass. But what if we told you there was a better way to pour? A splash-free method. What you should be doing is turning the carton around and pouring the juice with the hole at the top. If the carton has a fold, you can simply hold that down and pour over it. Easy and no splashes to clean up afterwards. There you go, just a few more ways humanity has been getting things wrong for decades, and in some cases, even centuries. Which examples shocked you the most? Are there any you have been doing all this time? Are there any we've missed? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.